Hey, boys and girls, it's Ron Bass with another edition of the Ron Bass Show, your source for inspiration, encouragement, motivation, some humor. Speaking of humor,
Some.
Mr. Brent Atterbury, Mr. Executive Producer.
Glad to
Mr.
see you
Marketing
today.
Guru. Glad to
Thank
see
you.
me. Glad to see you.
Yes.
Glad to be anywhere.
Yes. Glad to be alive.
Glad to be alive. Well, that's what I was inferring. Glad to be anywhere.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit of dry humor there.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Missed it.
Mr. Dry Humor guy over here. So guys, hope you guys are having a good week. We are in Springfield, Missouri, having a great time. Talking about the weather, talking about trains, talking about all the interruptions we have when we do our podcast. People
That's
walking
right.
into our studio without knocking on the door.
It's called life.
Yeah, but we don't
Challenges. We can handle it.
care. You know why I like doing the podcast the way we do it? Because it's a page out of real life. We don't try to put on any airs. We don't try to be something that we are not. We're just who we are. What you see is what you get.
Yes.
I'm not sure what you're getting, but you're getting it. At any rate, so much for all that. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different topics today.
Yeah.
And so let's start with this topic. I think about this a lot because in my business career, which has spanned over about 50 years now, I've had so many ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. What's the old saying? Out of every adversity, there's a seed of equal or greater benefit. So when you go down, guys, sooner or later, you're probably going to come back up. But let's talk about money. The idea that it's because you have money in the bank really is not as important as the idea that you are able to earn that money to put in the bank. So when you feel bad about money, that you're not being as successful as you would like to be, maybe in your business, think about this. You can always make money back if you have the skill and the knowledge to be able to create success, financial success, income. And to me, that's a lot more important than worrying about, oh, do I have enough money in the bank to pay my bills? Or have I been able to save enough money this year to buy whatever I wanted to buy? And speaking of that, I have a lot of friends that are getting ready to buy new vehicles. And I say to myself, oh my goodness, $50,000 for a new vehicle. That's like $5,000 maybe down payment and then $500 a month for a payment. Man, you can go out and spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 and pay cash for a used car. And the way I always buy used cars is I buy it from individuals. I try to buy it from old people that maybe can't drive anymore, or they're ill, or they've had a family member pass away and it's available. In fact, the car I'm driving now, you're not going to believe this. It's like a 30-year-old car, but it was a one owner. And in 30 years, that person only put like 90,000 miles on that car. Now do the math. That's 3,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
So you know it was well kept. Mm-hmm. And it may not look beautiful, but it drives like a brand new car. And I only paid $1,000. Now, I'm not saying that to brag one way or the other. I'm just suggesting that, yes, maybe I could go out and buy a new car, but why do that when I can put the money that I'm earning into building a more successful business, put that money into health and fitness, put that money into maybe to help a few people that are in desperate need along the way. Sometimes I've helped people that like couldn't pay their utility bill. And just a few $100s, guys, is like might as well be $1 million to that person. So it's always good to have a little bit of extra cash around just to maybe a homeless person. I had a homeless person come into my office the other day and it was really sad, man. And I know this guy. And he didn't, I gave him like $5 worth of change I had in my drawer. I didn't want to give him a 20 or 30 because you know what he probably would have done. Unfortunately, he probably would have went out and bought a bottle of liquor or maybe got some dope off the street, because that's what a lot of homeless people do. They get addicted and they're easy victims for the pusher. It's really sad, but that's just the way it is. So at any rate, so much for that subject. So just to reiterate what I'm suggesting, just remember this: your skill, your ability, your knowledge is more important than how much money you have in the bank, because that's worth 1,000 times more than what's in the bank, because you can earn that money back if you lose it. And believe me, I've lost it over and over and over and over again in my career. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of poor investments. But in the end, at least I've got the knowledge to replace the money that I've lost. So think about that, guys. And I think you'll find that I'm right if you ever come across that situation where you have to apply that information, apply that knowledge. Got anything to say about that? I see you shaking your head over here.
No, I agree with you on some of that. I can say that some people buy that newer car because they don't want to deal with some of the things that can go wrong with these cars today. Maybe they have to have a car because they drive a lot.
Well, there may be exceptions to what I'm saying.
Yes.
But I think across the board, look,
But-
here, I'm going to talk about this. People are chasing the wrong thing. They're chasing like they want to look impressive, so they buy a really nice car. That's the wrong reason to buy a new car, guys.
I agree.
And I think I'm kind of leaning towards that direction.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to talk about this next a little bit along those lines. It's like, I made a note here, quit chasing your tail. In other words, look, let's just get down to some real basics and how to have a successful life. You got to have a job, guys. I've got so many friends. I've got one friend in particular right now that's very suicidal, very depressed. I said, man, you got to at least get a job. You have to have a sense of purpose every day when you get up. You can't just get up and go, I don't know how I'm going to make it through the day. If you have a job, at least you've got something to keep yourself occupied. Number two, you're creating income. So you can at least pay your rent and your phone and your cell phone and your gasoline and your food every day and your insurance and whatever other incidentals that you might have to pay to stay alive, to survive, right? One of the things I'm going to talk about here in a little bit is modes, and we're going to talk about one of the modes is survival mode, but I'll get to that here in a minute. You got to work out. You got to have a job. You got to work out. I don't care if it's, like I say, you don't have to go to the gym like I do every day, but you need to have a daily routine of exercise. If you just want to walk 10 or 20, 30 minutes a day, that's perfect. If you want to go to a higher level, then do like I do. Go to the gym and spend an hour a day and do martial arts for a couple hours a night or an hour and a half a night. And that's a different level. But you're going to get out of it what you put into it, guys. So just saying, you got to get rest. You can't expect your body to go and go and go and go and go and go and go if you don't at least get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. It's very, 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 very important. I know these are basic things I'm going to talk about, but it's worth talking about it again over and over and over again to get my point across. And these are things that I do. I would never preach to you about something that I didn't do. I'm not a hypocrite that way. I'm not disingenuous like that. If it worked for me, it'll work for you guys. Spend time with the right kind of people. Don't be hanging out with losers. Don't be hanging out with people that have poor work ethics. Don't be hanging out with people like we talked about last week that are users, that are going to take advantage of you and suck you dry, take your money and take your emotions and make you feel bad and try to manipulate you. You're better off to be alone, guys. I mean, it's just the way it is. You're better off to be alone is to be around all these kinds of bad people because it's going to rub off on you. It's going to make you feel bad about yourself. It's no good. It's not the formula to become a successful person. No drugs, no alcohol. If you want to drink, okay, drink moderately. But if you've got an alcohol problem where you find it's an addiction, you got to kill it, man. You can't go down that road. You can't tease yourself. Oh, I'm only drinking beer. It's alcohol. I've got a friend at the gym I mentioned to you a few weeks ago about she just drinks wine. It's alcohol. I don't care if it's whiskey or wine, or beer, it's alcohol. So if you got an alcohol problem and you know you've got the urge to have it all the time or you don't feel good about yourself or you don't feel good, you got to get away from it. You got to figure that out, guys. That's a whole nother problem for a whole nother podcast, but you got to get out. You got to get away from that. Pray. If you believe in God. If you don't believe in God, I guess you don't pray. But if you believe in God, pray. At least a couple times a day, I'll say a prayer, just to be in touch with my higher power, just to stay in touch with my higher power, just so He'll be in touch with me. So when I'm really, really struggling, I get a little bit of an extra push, maybe to get through whatever the challenges that I'm experiencing. One last thought. Remember, you become what you think about. You become who you surround yourself with. Oh boy, am I in trouble. Ding, 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 ding. Read positive material. Read positive material. Don't read a bunch of crap that's going to make you go out and do crazy things with your life. And there's a lot of that out there, guys. Read positive, motivational material. And you can get it on the internet. You can type it into Google, and you don't have to read all this sensational crap that's just going to make you worry and feel bad and be anxious. Okay. So much for that. Any thoughts, sir?
No, I believe. Whatever you're selling, I'm buying.
You're funny. Okay, guys. Look, along those lines earlier, we're talking about the car. Focus on yourself. Don't chase your tail. Don't be chasing. We did the podcast on this. Don't be chasing the feel good. Focus on yourself, your personal development, your physical development, your emotional development, your financial development. Don't be chasing cars and big homes and fancy clothes and fancy shoes. These Brooks shoes I bought 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm still wearing them. And yeah, they've gotten dirty, but you know what? Look at the tread. I've still got a lot of tread, and I'm on the treadmill every day. Get it?
Treadmill. Yeah, good.
Focus on yourself. It sounds selfish, but it's not. If you're doing good and you feel good about yourself, you're setting a great example for a lot of other people. And you got to do that, guys. You can't be chasing drugs and alcohol and women and men if you're a woman and sex and you can't be chasing things that are not real. These aren't real things. These are like superficial things. You got to focus on yourself, guys. Speaking of interruptions, okay. What else are we going to talk about here? Okay, I've got a good friend at the gym who unfortunately has gained about 35 or 40 pounds. And it's okay, guys. We're just doing a podcast, but it's no big deal. Come on through.
I was just going to sit down.
Okay. At any rate, she's gained like 35 or 40 pounds. And she's very discouraged about it. And I said, well, you know what the formula is. You know what it's going to take to lose the weight. And she just about said screw it and just started eating even more. And then finally, she decided that she was going to do something about it. And I saw her the other day. She said she's lost 8 pounds.
Wow.
And she's so excited.
Good.
And then she's staying on this. What she's doing is what she's learned is that she's come up with a formula where it's uncomfortable for a while, but after a while, she's changed her food that she eats. And now she's at a point where she doesn't feel hungry anymore. Of course, she's exercising every day to boot. So on top of that, she's changed her eating habits. So now she's losing that weight, and she's so excited and so happy. And I told her, I said, Amanda, if you're watching, I told you I was going to put this on the podcast. So guys, if you got a weight loss, if you got a weight problem, it's not the end of the world, but you're going to have to go through some struggle, but eventually you're going to work it out if you stay somewhat disciplined and you don't give up. But that's what happens. Most people give up.
Yeah.
And they don't lose the weight. And then what happens?
They get discouraged.
Yeah, but what happens physically to you if you don't lose the weight?
A lot of things.
Well, like what?
You become more tired.
Yeah, what else?
The excess weight puts more taxing measures on your body, your organs,
what else happens
your heart.
To you physically? What other kinds of diseases happen?
Diabetes.
What else?
Heart disease.
Yep, those are the two big ones. I don't think the lungs get too hurt by it, but diabetes and heart are the two big issues. So, at any rate, not to belabor the point, but exercise and just don't eat so much. If you do those two things, you're going to find you're going to lose that weight. And if you don't lose that weight, you're going to find you're going to be sick. You're not going to feel good about yourself psychologically because you don't like you have a poor self-image. And secondly, you're going to be sick physically. And nobody can do anything about it but you. Nobody can do that for you. Okay, modes. I was talking about this earlier, survival. There's 3 modes that I think about every day. Survival mode, par, and advance. So whether it's psychological or financial, physical, it doesn't matter. Those are the 3 modes that you should think about every single day. What mode are you in? Today I feel so good, right, that I'm ready. I'm advancing myself. I'm going to do more workout. I'm going to work even harder to create more financial success. I'm going to read even more books and learn more about how I can improve my mind and how I can improve my attitude so I can be happier about myself and set a better example. So think about that every day, guys. Every morning when you get up, ask yourself where you're at. Am I in par mode where I'm just even? Am I in survival mode where I'm just barely hanging in there? Or am I advancing? This is a real good barometer for me to use, and I've done this for years. And it's every morning I wake up, I think about where am I at? And believe me, I've been in all 3 modes many times in my career. And it's okay. It's okay. All right. Breaking news, sir.
Well, Ron, you talk about exercise, you talk about jujitsu, martial arts,
Yes.
and just preparing yourself to be able to defend yourself.
Yes.
If you have to.
Yes.
Well, an 84-year-old woman in Florida saved her own life after punching an alligator in the face.
Oh my God.
She was on taking her walk that she does all the time.
Okay.
Carrying her dog. The alligator jumped out of the water, grabbed her by the leg. She threw the dog, and she got down and punched the alligator in the face, and the alligator left.
That's a heck of a story.
So it's a good. What you say, it comes
Makes
true.
sense.
Yeah, exercise, jiu-jitsu. I don't know if she knows jiu-jitsu, but she knows how to punch.
She knows how to punch.
Yeah, 84.
That's crazy, huh?
Wow.
Which just goes to prove another point.
Yeah,
You're never too old.
that's right. Of course, I think, it's better to punch than be drug into the pond. So
Can you imagine? And I've read some pretty horrible stories about that.
Yeah.
Alligators eating people.
Yep.
Children, too. And dogs eating children.
Yep.
And killing children. Go ahead.
Today is National Hot Cross Bun Day. I don't even know what that is. But also today is National Make Your Bed Day. Did you make your bed?
Yes, I did, sir.
Oh, well, good for you. I didn't.
Which is another simple
I
thing,
didn't.
a habit you should do every day.
Why should you make your bed?
Because it's a reflection of your attitude about your surroundings, and you become what you surround yourself with. Or your mind is a reflection of your surrounding is a reflection of your mind, by the way.
Okay.
So if you're organized in your environment, probably your mind's organized. Plus, it's a good habit to
Do you make your bed?
Yeah.
Why do you make your bed so if somebody comes over, they see that you made your bed?
No.
Because if nobody ever comes over, no one knows if you made your bed or not.
You do it for your own benefit.
I got you.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
You got it. Mr. Funny Guy. I'm trying to be serious. You're trying to be funny. I'm sorry. Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
All right. Well,
That's all I got.
any closing thoughts?
No, I have a dog that chases his tail, and you said don't chase your tail, but I have a dog that does.
That's fine.
No, good.
Speaking of dogs, everywhere
Good.
I go, there's a friggin' dog barking. In my office, in my home, at the gym. Everywhere I go, there's dogs. There's a dog on the top of this building. Barking. And all these dogs bark.
Right now?
3 o'clock this morning, dogs are barking.
Why is there a dog on top of the building?
Because there's an apartment complex at the end of our building, and they walk up on the roof. It's like a second story.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have people come in my
That's
office
not
all the
normal.
time. Did you know there's a dog on your roof? Yeah, I know there's a dog on my roof. And he's barking. Yeah, I know.
You could charge money for that. It could be a tourist attraction.
I like that. I could get a big sign outside and say, hey.
Dog dancing on roof or dog barking on
Dog
roof.
barking on roof.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, since he's got nothing else to say, I'll say this. Just remember, if you don't give up, and that's something that nobody should consider.
No.
Regardless. And there's a lot of reasons why people feel like giving up. That's why people commit suicide, right? Because they give up. The pain is so intense that the only way they feel like they can get out of it is to kill themselves. Well, that's the saddest thought I can think of today. That's a horrible thought. But that's how bad it gets for some people. Hopefully, there's help for even those people, but I'm not sure if that's true. Some people, they say there's no help. There's nothing that will help them. That's a crazy, sad thought, isn't it? But aside from that, eventually, if you don't give up, the stars are going to line up. And something good is going to happen. May not be exactly what you want. It may not be perfect, but you know what? It's better than it probably was before because you stayed the course and you worked hard and you found a solution or many solutions to solve your adversities and your problems and your challenges so you could move forward and finally accomplish at least, if not the whole goal, part of the goal. So until that time comes, and even after that time comes, just remember, stay positive.